Hey everybody, today's woman of the Bible is Pharaoh's daughter. And this comes right in context with Jochebed and the two midwives. This is all talking about a specific time in Egypt where the king's heart was so hard, and he was trying, I guess the king was trying to protect his country. He thought the slaves were getting too strong, and he was trying to kind of delete their population because he was scared that someday they would rise up and take over Egypt. Well, he probably had a legitimate concern, but that was not in God's plan. God was not about to let the baby boys be destroyed. And we see that he ended up using Pharaoh's own daughter to save the most not the most important person, but the most used person to get them out of his country, the Hebrews out of his country. And so it's kind of interesting to see how God used an Egyptian to actually save the Israelites from oppression. So we look at Pharaoh's daughter, and we see that her heart was not hard like her father's. She had a soft, compassionate heart. When she saw baby Moses crying or heard him, she had compassion on him, and she knew he was a Hebrew. She knew her father's laws about killing them, but she wanted to save him. And we see how the story unfolds that Miriam was watching over Moses, and she ran and said, "Hey, do you want me to get a nurse for the baby?" And in turn, it was his own mom got to take care of him. Isn't that awesome how God works? So we see how that she took him home and raised him as her own son. And actually, the mom, Jochebed, was taking care of him, and it all worked out. But let's look at Pharaoh's daughter a little bit. Her compassion for children. You know, children so often are so helpless. They are helpless. And as parents and older people, we don't think about that they are little human beings too. They're little people that just simply have not been through life and had the experiences we have. And so as parents and older people, sometimes we tend to look down on them. We tend to boss them and to not have the patience we should with them. And sometimes it can be a bad thing. Children need somebody there for them that loves their heart and has compassion for them, that'll help them to grow and help them to understand things in life. And especially as moms and dads, we need to be there for our children. We don't need to always carry a big stick. We should never do that. We should have compassion and realize that, you know what, God put these little people in our lives, and they're very important to us. We need to train them with wisdom and guidance. You know, there is times when we need to be firm with our children and say, no, you are not going out onto the road. Yes, you are going to take a nap because it makes you feel better. There is times where we have to be firm, but it's always with love and treating them as a human being. They are people. They are people. Just because that we are bigger than they does not mean that we can boss them around and rule over them. That's not the way God intended things to be. And we see that Pharaoh's daughter, back to her again, she had a soft heart for children. And because of her soft heart and her compassion for children and for Moses, she was able to help God in his plan of bringing the Israelites out of Egypt. I'm sure she had no clue what she was doing and what a big part she was playing in God's plan. But God was using her that day for a specific purpose and plan. And we see that each child has a purpose and a plan. Every child that is born into this world, whether we think it's a mistake or not, every child is born for a reason and a purpose. And as adults, that's part of our job, is to help our children realize their plan and purpose, and to be there for them, to help them to develop their gifts and their talents so that they can later on grow into their purpose. And I like to think, I see that Pharaoh's daughter adopted Moses, and he definitely was part of the family. There mustn't have been very little favorites, because they say he was in line for the throne to be the next king, and that didn't come if the family didn't like him. So I my thoughts today are about adoptive parents, adoptive mom and dads who take in somebody else's child and raises it and helps it to see their potential and guides him and helps them to grow. I just think that is such a noble thing to do in helping these children. You know, children need somebody to help them. And when their own parents don't step up to the plate, sometimes it's our job to step up to the plate and gently guide and direct them and to be there for them when they just simply need somebody to care for their heart. Adoption is an awesome thing to do when this world is so full, the push is so strong for abortion. You know, get rid of that child. You know, somebody once said, you know, we're praying that, you know, for the cure for cancer, you know, and so many other things. Well, what if you aborted the person that had the cure for cancer? You know, each child is so important, you know, and especially, like I said, as foster moms and adoptive parents, you are doing an awesome job of stepping up and being there for that child. I just bless you today for that work and that reaching out you do in helping that child when nobody else is there for them. I bless you. And for all of us moms everywhere, your child is important. Your Sunday school child is important. The neighbor's child is important. Do your part to help that child be all they can be and to add the value to life that God wants him and her to. Bless you today. Love y'all.